Hi all, my name's Anya McCabe. I work for Phobail and Phobail, and I'm here with Paula Kerr, the kitchen gardener. Paula, I'm delighted to say, has agreed to do a video as part of our Phobail and Yari. Just in her kitchen. So we're going to be going out to your garden throughout this the time period here, and she's going to give us an introduction, I suppose, to how you can grow things in a garden in an urban setting. And I, for one, can't wait to hear from you, Paula, for it. So can I ask you first, what got you into this kitchen garden?
Well, for me, I've always enjoyed gardening. And just a few years ago I decided I wanted to just expand it a little bit, and my husband very kindly got me a greenhouse and put it up, and I found out really quickly that I could grow lots of vegetables, fruit, herbs, flowers in my garden in a city.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was mind-blowing, and I want to be able to pass my experience on to people. I want to take the mystery out of gardening. There can be some convoluted words and expressions and names for the different plants that we grow, but I just want to make it simple for people.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because I certainly don't think of a green thumb or whatever, but I'm dabbling in things and trying to, get a look at just seeing here what you can do is amazing. I've started with a few small things. I'm doing scallions. I've planted some chili and peppers and that, but nothing as advanced as what you have in your garden. So, and can I just ask as well? I mean, I'm conscious here the range of fruit and vegetables and that we have. Were in terms of our carbon footprint, and I know we talked about it. That's something you're very keen to show us how we can save the environment by doing a lot of what you do in your garden.
Well, for sure. I mean, yesterday I went out to the supermarket and I bought a selection of vegetables and fruit that my family like to eat, and I was blown away by the waste of plastic. By the journey that these vegetables and pieces of fruit have had to take. These here are scallions that are a very common Irish vegetable, and they came from Egypt.
Wow.
This corn here, which surprises people, that you can grow corn in a city very easily, and I'll show you how to do that. This came from Senegal, and these beans down here, which literally you can grow on your windowsill in a box, they came from Guatemala.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? The ermides.
Yeah, the ermides, the carbon footprint of all of that. The other thing that I noticed is their colour. They are very vibrant and they look very beautiful. They're very straight and perfect, but they don't taste as good as the things that I can grow in my garden. And I grow all of these in my garden, everything, in pots, in beds, some of it in the greenhouse. But whenever you look at a tomato like that, it's very pale. It's come from Spain. And I know it's not going to taste very nice.
Yeah.
And it isn't even that the money's the problem.
Vibrant red that you see when you're in Spain.
No, and when you grow, you can grow cherry tomatoes in Ireland outside. People are shocked at that. And then I can grow beautiful big beef tomatoes in the greenhouse, and our chilies in the greenhouse, and the aubergine. But the rest of this you can grow in your yard in Belfast. Okay, and apart from the lack of taste and that comes from these vegetables, the other part that I think is really important is the amount of plastic that it has taken to bring this fruit to my table, this here. And I find that very difficult to deal with, given the environmental issues that we're facing these days. My vegetables, when I take them from the garden, are picked minutes before I cook them. There's no plastic involved, and more importantly, there's no pesticides, fungicides or waxes involved, because all of those vegetables have those on them.
Yeah, no, that's
and
amazing.
That's what you're
really
digesting and giving your children.
No, so much more healthier. So much more healthier.
And other benefits, yes, much more healthier because you're not digesting those things into your system. But the impact that I have seen a little bit of gardening on my physical and mental health well-being has been fantastic. I go to the local allotments as well, and people there, the benefits that they're experiencing from it as well. So there's just so many benefits, and if I can make this simpler for people, take the mystery out of it, take the big fancy words out of it, and literally show you what to do with some compost and some seeds, and this is what you get. This is the result.
That's
in
fantastic.
a city garden.
That's fantastic.
In Belfast.
Like, I to be honest, even knowing I was coming here today, I just wouldn't have thought the range of vegetables and fruit that you'd be able to do.
Yeah, I think people do expect potatoes, carrots, maybe stuff like that. But I know
the corn was one for me. I wouldn't
but the
have
fruit
thought.
as well. You know, people think you have to go to the country to get rhubarb and stuff. It's out in a big bucket out the back there. You know, and the other thing that's been a real joy is adding the hens to the kitchen garden. And these are our eggs. They're laid every day. And
can't get much fresher than that.
No, literally out the back.
Yeah.
Hello hens, give us your eggs.
And I'm conscious here. If you want to maybe just give us a sense of what you have here.
Yeah, and the other thing that I do is not only do we cook and eat the vegetables, but I make and preserve from them as well. So I'm
hoping for a wee gift before I leave.
So the things that are very, very popular that I make and I give them away to friends and family are marmalade and jam. The jams are amazing. They're so easy to do, and you can even do that from frozen fruit that you buy in the supermarket. Chili oil is very popular. I make a chili jam that blows your head off, and that's really popular as well.
Our household love heat. Anything
chili.
Well,
there you go. Well, then I'll sort you out there. Now one's a bit like a Marmite. This is corn relish, which is wonderful on burgers, but it's one of those ones that the kids are going to either love or hate. But it's really popular, and that's just made from the corn that I.
That's fantastic, isn't it?
So there you go. Nothing's
real.
Seriously. I just wanted to show you my workspace where I grow, because I think it's really important that you have somewhere, whether it is a greenhouse or out in your garden, that you have everything to hand, and you have the space to be able to use your compost and plant up your pots or to fill your trays. And you really don't need an awful lot. I know you can spend a fortune on tools, but I don't. I've bought tools over the years and I just use them. And I don't have an awful lot of tools. I just have what I need. So the first thing I think important to have is a trowel. Now I've had this trowel for 5 years, and it's right for me. It's the right fit. It's heavy enough, and I think I got that in a supermarket, and it was only £2. So you know, other people will spend £30 on a trowel. This is one that's good for me. So that's what I use. Really important in the garden is a good pair of pruners, secateurs, whatever you want to call them. These can be difficult to get a good pair. We got these in a supermarket and they work very well, but I've had other pairs that I got and they just didn't work, you know. So it is something that you have to shop about a wee bit for, and when you get a good make, you know, make sure you remember it. So very useful. You're going to use this all summer long in the garden, so make sure you get something that suits you. I have a larger pair. These are loopers, and basically that's for reaching up high or far into places, because you have to be mindful of your safety as well. So don't be trying to totter on a stool with a small pair of pruners when this here will take all the hard work out of it for you. And then another thing I like to use is a dibber, and that's basically for when I'm planting and I'm working with the compost. It just dibs the hole. You know, if your packet of seeds tells you need a 10 centimetre depth, that measures it for you, and that takes the sort of the mystery out of it. Bar that, it's really, really important that you have a variety of trays and pots, because that's what you're going to sow and plant in. And again, when it comes to plastic, I only buy a few that I need, or I collect them, or people share them, but I reuse them every year. So these are ones I used last year. I'm going to use them again. These are particularly useful. These are module trays, so they come with a tray underneath to give it a bit of support, and these are what I use to sow many of my vegetables and flowers. And it's literally, you just fill it with soil, your compost, tap it down, refill it again, and then you start sowing with it. It's super, super useful. And they come with a lid, these plastic lids, and that makes it turns it into a little mini greenhouse. But you can also reuse vegetable packets that you see in the supermarket, those little plastic containers. They're great, they're really useful too. So if you want to keep costs down, use those as well. And then the other things that I need are my pots. Again, I reuse. These are things that people have gifted to me or I've bought them and I keep reusing them. And you need a good variety of depth and width. And you really need to pay attention to the seed packet. If it tells you need to plant it 10 centimetres deep, plant it 10 centimetres deep, but get a pot that has enough space for you to be able to do that. Okay, so that's a good tip. And that's really it. That's as simple as it can be. If you want to make it expensive, you can, but if you want it to be more practical like me, then get the tools that you need and reuse them. Very useful and easy to work with is a trug. So this is the trug here, and it's quite deep, so you could grow some rooted vegetables in it as well. I'm going to use it today to grow some broad beans, which will be at the back, and then they'll grow up this little fencing here. I'm going to sow some onions, which I have here. I'm going to sow some chard and some chives, and as you saw earlier, the chives that came from Egypt, you can grow these in your garden very easily. And then a mixture of lettuce, which is fabulous. These seeds will grow in here. Once I've sowed them, I put the lid on and I just leave that for a couple of months and they will just grow away. So let's start with the broad beans. So you generally get a good sized packet of these. They're fabulous vegetables, easy to work with. You can eat them raw in salads or you can cook them, and it's a great way to get kids to eat vegetables. Super easy to sow, so I'm just going to do a row at the back here. Now they grow to about this height and each one will be about that wide, so I think we have enough room here for about 4. So literally just put your thumb in and put your little seed in. It doesn't really matter what way you put the seed in. Put your thumb in and plant your seed. Another one, and then the last one round about here, and put that in. And don't cover them over just yet. Wait till you get all of your seeds in and then we'll start covering over. Now on the onions, I've got a selection here, so I'm going to plant about 3 onions. So I have different types of onions here. We've got the white ones, the yellow ones and red, and I think I'll probably grow 3 in here, so I'll take the tiniest one away. And check each onion as you grab it there. See if it's squishy. Don't use that. Get one that's nice and firm. They're all great. So I'm going to do the same kind of thing with your onion. Just set it there, dip it into the compost. And that's enough. That's how deep it needs to go. And I'll put the yellow one there and then the red one over here. And just cover it around the edges with a bit of compost. Now next I'm going to sow some chard, fabulous vegetable. Again, you can eat this raw or cooked. And it's also very beautiful colour, so in your garden it's just very pretty to have. So I'm going to do like a little line along the compost here, and I'm just going to sprinkle in some of my seeds. Now they're quite good seeds to handle, they're quite big, they're easy enough to work with, so just pick one up, drop it in, and just give it about a hand's length to your next one, because again these will grow nice and bushy, so they need a bit of space. Just pop your seeds in. And I'll do maybe one more. Okay, and then this is the chives, again a lovely vegetable to grow. Very, very easy. And as you can see on the packet, they have a lovely flower. Very, very pretty to look at, but it's edible. So it's something else that you can add to your food, which is really useful. So just get your packet open. Inside there'll be a little smaller pack. These are tiny, tiny seeds. So don't be planting on a very windy day. Okay. So just open your little pack. And as you can see, they are absolutely tiny. Okay, so just be careful in the wind. And again, I'm going to do a little ditch for it. I'm just going to do 2 little patches of it. Just get a little sprinkle in your fingers there. Not too deep. And just sprinkle that in. And that's your chives done. Now the last vegetable that we're going to put in the trug is mixed leaves. It's little salad leaves. Here we are. And it's a different mixture. There's the lovely red ones. There's green sort of iceberg lettuce and loose leaves as well. That's a really handy kind of lettuce to grow because you can just, pick them as you need them. And it's called cut and come again. So you just come along, cut it, and then it will grow back again. So just get your little pack, and I'm actually going to sprinkle this around because it will just grow with the other vegetables. So you don't need to be so precise with your little lettuce. Now the lettuce can go just on nearly the top here. You don't need to dig down for the lettuce. So again, look, it's tiny, tiny little seeds, and they will blow away in the wind, so just be careful. And I'm going to sprinkle them between the onions, around the edges and the front of the trug. Just anywhere you have a wee spare space, in between the broad beans as well. And that's it. So that's all of them in. And all you need to do is just scatter your compost over. So you cover your wee broad beans, your lettuce. Don't cover over your onions, but everything else, just shuffle the compost around. If you need any more, you can always add it, but I think that's enough. Maybe just a little bit there. Now, all you need to do now is just give this a little water. Now, not a heavy watering, just use like a hose on the rose on your watering can. Give it a little watering, and then put the lid on. It comes with the lid. Put your lid on. That's it. And you leave that. And if you check it every couple of weeks, you will see things starting to come through. And again, this is going to be ready probably early summer. The broad beans will grow up. You take the lid off then, and they'll grow up the wall, and everything else will just keep growing away, and just snip away what you need for your dinner or your lunch, and it will keep growing. So March is the time to really kickstart your garden. So I have started here with my onion sets, and onion sets are a really convenient way to grow onions, and they're literally tiny little onions that have been stopped growing last year, and then you start them this year, and all you do is literally get some compost from here and fill your module tray, and then put your little onion in and just press it down. And after a while you will see it starting to grow shoots. What have you brought with you today?
I got both, I think, something similar maybe. Yes. And I'll be honest with you, I bought them, was very ambitious, and then didn't do anything with them.
Look, this is so simple. These are cooking onions, these ones here.
Yeah.
And just your standard yellow onion, as we would call it. And they will grow to quite a good size. And then the red onion that you have is salad onion here, which you can cook with as well. But they won't be perfectly round onions that you get in the supermarket, but the taste will blow you away.
Am I too late?
Not at all.
Just the right time?
March is the right time to start doing it. You can actually do it back in the autumn, but you can do it in early spring as well.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know, because I did buy these about a month ago. Just haven't got around to doing anything. So
and all you need to get is a couple of these wee trays. Now, again, when it comes to the environment, we don't like buying plastic, but I buy plastic once and I use it for years. So it'll be reused over and over again.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Anya, what else have you brought with you?
Well, I bought this garlic at the same time I bought the onions, and as I said, I haven't done anything with it. So what about this?
Well, look, It's a little bit late. I normally would plant these back in the autumn.
Right.
Because garlic needs a good cold season and frost for it to split. Because what you do is you get each a bulb out and you split them open and you plant each clove into the ground, and each clove then grows, splits into more cloves, and that's your new garlic bulb.
Right.
But it needs frost to do it.
Okay.
And also check your bulbs as well. If they're a bit squidgy or anything, then they might not do well. They're a little bit soft. Okay. But what have you got to lose?
That, exactly. Even that tip, I'll know for future reference.
Absolutely.
To make sure get them in earlier.
And if go ahead and plant them now. They won't develop into cloves, but you will get one big clove, and it will be garlicky, but just not as strong.
So do I split it at this stage?
So open it up, crush it open, take the paper, the skin, outer skin off, and just dig a wee hole in the ground with finger, literally like that, and put a wee clove. Lovely. In the section, in the spot there, and that's it.
Great, thanks for that, Paula.
Give it a go and see. And you know what? You can eat the stems of the garlic if they're not developing very well. You can still eat the stems, and they're lovely.
So all's not lost.
Not lost.
Thanks.
Okay, so many people have been asking me, how do you grow potatoes? And I have to say it's really, really simple, and you only need a few things, and it doesn't really cost a lot of money. So first of all, you need your potato seeds. So you get these from the garden centres, and you can also use the potatoes that you find at the bottom of the bag with sprouts in them. You can plant them if you want to as well, but these are chitted potatoes, and by chitting I mean they've been sitting on the windowsill for a few weeks and they've started to produce the sprouts, little shoots that will turn into stems that the new potatoes will grow from. You also then need something to grow it in, and I do use these potato bags. They have a little bit of drainage, which is useful, and you can also use the long life bags from the supermarket if you have a few of those. Put a little hole around the bottom just to let a bit of drainage out. Then the other thing you need is your multi-purpose compost. It's not particularly special compost, and they're used to just growing in that. So once you get your bag, put your compost in. Now that's about up to my knuckles deep in compost, and it's very simple. Per bag, get 3 seed potatoes, and you simply put them in to the bag with the shoots up where possible. Just set them in. Now if you have some potato fertilizer, you could sprinkle a little bit in. I couldn't get any at the moment, but I'll add that later. And then all I'm going to do is now add the compost on top of the potato. Just put that in. And you need to have about 2 to 3 inches above the top of the potato, because if the potato gets to any light at all, then they will just go green and become toxic, and they're not good for you. So make sure you cover them. That's about enough. And you can give it a little bit of a water, just very little, or as I did, wet your compost first. And that's it. That's how you start to grow it. And what's going to happen then is that those little sprouts will start to grow, and they will come up and push through the compost. And when they get to about 2 inches above the compost, then you have to start earthing up, and that simply means you get more compost and you cover most of the green shoots that have popped up through the compost, and you keep doing that through the summer. As your potatoes grow, lift the sides of the bag up, and that just gives it some protection. Now this bag is ready to go, so what I'm going to do is place a little bit of fleece over the top, just like that. I'll clip that in with some clothes pegs, and that just protects it from any frost that might come during the next few weeks, because we will get frost probably up until May. That's it. That's all you do. It's very simple, and the flavour of these potatoes, I have to tell you, it's so fluffy and so much better tasting than any supermarket potatoes, and it's that simple.
Well, Paula, it's been a great morning here with you in your kitchen garden, and I just want to thank you. Obviously you've shown us how to grow some potatoes, myself, my onions that
Yeah.
I wanted to know about. And you've also then shown us the trug, which
Yeah.
is new to me. I never heard
Yeah,
of one, but
yeah, very
hard to sow
convenient.
seeds in it. So that's given us some food for thought. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and that was very corny. Well, look, Anya, I've really enjoyed showing you around today, and I'm glad that I've been able to show you how to sow things. And what I was thinking is maybe come back in August when it's harvest time and have a look and see what you've sown today.
Well, absolutely. Would be delighted to come back in August. Obviously, is one of our large festivals. So
Yeah.
we have our large August festival, and the dates this year are the 4th to the 14th. So hopefully, we'll be able to do something during those times and see the benefits of what I've helped you sow today.
Well, you're very welcome.
I've done very little, but
Well,
but
look-
no, listen, thanks very much. Really appreciate it, Paula.
all very welcome. And if anyone's any questions about what I showed you today, just look on the Kitchen Gardener Facebook page.